In 2018, Chicago announced the most ambitious airport expansion in American history, a brand new global terminal, 2 satellite concourses, a complete rebuild of the world's third busiest airport. Cost $6 billion, completion 2026. It is now 2026. The project costs $8.5 billion. The original 2026 completion date was pushed to 2032, then 2033, then 2034. The construction sequence has been redesigned twice. The city is currently negotiating with airlines about which terminal to build first, again, because the plan agreed in 2024 is already unworkable. And while that construction debate continues, the FAA has just capped O'Hare at 2,800 flights per day for summer 2026. Not because the airport is being rebuilt, because United and American scheduled 3,080 flights per day, 280 more than the airport, the air traffic control system, and the runways can handle simultaneously. The airlines are scheduling more flights into an airport that is simultaneously under construction, at capacity, and the subject of a federal regulatory intervention. Chicago is spending $8.5 billion rebuilding an airport that is already too broken to wait for the construction to finish. The O'Hare expansion program, officially the Terminal Area Plan, was announced in September 2018. The headline number was $6 billion. The headline promise was transformational: demolish Terminal 2, the airport's oldest and most congested facility, and replace it with a new global terminal that would unify international and domestic connections under one roof for the first time in O'Hare's history. Terminal 2 opened in 1962. It has been operating for over 60 years with infrastructure that reflects its age. Ceilings that feel low, corridors that congest at peak hours, gate configurations that were designed for aircraft that no longer exist. The terminal that handles millions of American Airlines passengers annually is physically the oldest major hub facility at any top 5 U.S. airport. The global terminal was designed to fix all of it, a modern facility connecting the concourses via underground tunnels, eliminating the current configuration where connecting passengers at O'Hare must sometimes navigate across multiple terminals through public areas to reach their next gate. 2 new satellite concourses, adding significant gate capacity. A design that would finally give O'Hare the kind of unified passenger experience that Atlanta, Dallas, and Denver had built decades earlier. The original plan called for completion by 2026. The full project was expected to deliver the global terminal, both satellites, and the connecting infrastructure as an integrated system. None of that happened on schedule, and the reasons it didn't reveal something important about how airports get planned and how they get built.
The first delay came from COVID-19. The pandemic collapsed O'Hare's traffic in 2020 to a fraction of 2019 volumes. The financing structure for the Terminal Area Plan, which relies heavily on airport revenue bonds serviced by airline fees and passenger charges, became immediately stressed when the passengers generating that revenue disappeared. Chicago and the airlines renegotiated. The timeline extended. The completion date moved from 2026 to 2032. That renegotiation happened in 2024. When Mayor Brandon Johnson and the 2 hub carriers reached a new agreement. The revised plan prioritized building 1 satellite concourse first, then the global terminal, then the second satellite, conditional on sufficient funds remaining. The logic was sequencing. Get additional gate capacity online before demolishing Terminal 2 so the airport isn't reduced in total capacity during the transition. By November 2025, 18 months after that deal was agreed, the city published bond statements acknowledging the 2024 plan was also no longer workable. The reason was passenger growth. O'Hare recorded a 5.1% increase in traffic in 2025. Both hub carriers ended the year announcing their largest ever O'Hare schedules for summer 2026. United plans 750 daily departures, the largest schedule any airline has ever operated from O'Hare. American planned over 500. Combined peak day operations were projected to reach 3,080. The city's analysis found that closing Terminal 2 to begin global terminal construction, as the 2024 plan required, would remove gate capacity at the exact moment the airlines were adding the most flights in O'Hare's history. An airport already operating at the edge of its physical capacity cannot absorb the loss of a full terminal during construction without somewhere for those flights to go. There is nowhere for them to go. The revised plan, as of late 2025, build both satellite concourses first, completing by 2029, to add gate capacity before Terminal 2 is demolished, then build the global terminal from 2029 to 2033, with additional phases extending to 2034. A project announced in 2018 with a 2026 completion date now finishes in 2034, 8 years behind schedule. Cost grown from $6 billion to $8.5 billion. While Chicago renegotiates construction timelines, the FAA is managing a separate but directly related crisis, the airline scheduling far more flights than O'Hare can handle in its current state. The FAA announced a cap of 2,800 daily operations at O'Hare for the summer 2026 season, running from March 29 through October 25. The cap requires cutting 280 flights per peak day from the combined schedules United and American had already published. That's approximately 50,400 flights affected across the summer, with an estimated 7 to 10 million passengers potentially displaced or rebooked. The gate war driving the overscheduling is not irrational from either airline's perspective. Gate allocation at O'Hare determines which carrier controls connecting traffic, which carrier gets premium departure times, and ultimately which carrier dominates the hub. United and American have been fighting this battle openly. After a COVID-era suspension, the gate allocation formula resulted in American losing 5 gates to United when it resumed in October 2025. United CEO Scott Kirby responded to any prospect of American recovering those gates with explicit language in January 2026. "We're not going to allow them to win a single gate at our expense in 2026. We're going to add as many flights as are required to make sure that we keep our gate count the same in Chicago. We're just going to stay focused." American responded by announcing 3 new routes. United responded with 5 new routes plus additional frequencies on 80 existing ones. The combined result pushed projected peak operations to 3,080 per day, 15% above the 2,680 daily operations that ran last summer. The FAA held a 2-day scheduling meeting in Washington with both carriers. The cap was set. Approximately 51% of O'Hare flights in Q2 2026 are scheduled by United. American holds roughly 37%. The methodology for distributing the required cuts is being negotiated. The airport that Chicago is spending $8.5 billion to fix is simultaneously being managed by federal regulators because it cannot handle the traffic levels the airlines are scheduling into it, today in its current configuration before a single new gate has opened. The construction delays and the FAA cap are both symptoms of the same underlying condition. O'Hare's capacity problem is not primarily a terminal problem. It is an airfield problem. O'Hare has 8 runways, more than almost any commercial airport in the world, but the configuration of those runways, combined with the volume of traffic and the dependency on instrument approaches during Chicago's frequent low-visibility weather, creates a system that hits its operational ceiling faster than the raw runway count suggests it should. The FAA's 2,800 daily operations cap reflects not just terminal gate counts, but the demonstrated capacity of the entire system: runways, taxiways, gates, air traffic control, operating simultaneously. Adding gates through the satellite concourses and global terminal increases the number of aircraft the terminal can process. It does not expand the airfield. When the full terminal area plan is complete in 2034, if it completes on schedule, which it has not done yet, O'Hare will have more gates,
better passenger flow, and a modern unified terminal experience. It will still operate under a flight cap set by airfield and ATC capacity that the construction program does not address. The O'Hare expansion generates $38 billion in annual economic impact for Chicago, and passenger traffic has returned to record levels. The airport's strategic importance to both United and American, and to the international carriers connecting through it, is not in question. What is in question is whether an $8.5 billion program that has already slipped 8 years and is being redesigned while the airport it is rebuilding operates under federal flight caps represents the right solution to the right problem at the right speed. Here is the complete picture. Chicago announced a $6 billion terminal rebuild in 2018 with a 2026 completion date. It now costs $8.5 billion and finishes in 2034 at the earliest. The construction sequence has been redesigned twice. The city is currently renegotiating the plan it agreed in 2024 because passenger growth made it unworkable before a single shovel broke ground on the main terminal. Simultaneously, United and American are fighting a gate war so aggressive that the FAA had to intervene and cap summer 2026 operations at 2,800 flights per day, cutting 280 daily flights from schedules the airlines had already sold tickets for. The airport is too busy to be rebuilt efficiently. The rebuild is too slow to solve the capacity problem. The airlines are adding flights faster than construction can add gates, and the FAA is managing the resulting overflow in real time. O'Hare is the third busiest airport in the world. Chicago is right to invest in rebuilding it. The $8.5 billion commitment is not the problem. The problem is that the airport being rebuilt is the same airport that is simultaneously too congested to function properly, too politically complex to build through without renegotiating every 2 years, and too critical to both hub carriers for either of them to stop adding flights while the construction proceeds. Chicago started this project in 2018 expecting to finish in 2026. It will finish in 2034. By the time the global terminal opens, the airlines currently fighting over its gates will have been scheduling flights into O'Hare for 16 years with no new major infrastructure to show for it. That is not a construction problem. That is a planning problem. And Chicago has been building it for 6 years.